The following presentation was made possible by the Alltech Media Group, a Southern California multimedia company providing exponential branding and marketing services to all their clients. The Alltech Media Group understands the value of the 3W strategy, providing their clients proven, trackable results. Let us make it easy for you to grow your business. Visit alltechmedia.com.
Welcome to another edition of Energy Independence Magazine. I'm your host, Sean Reynolds, and today I'll be speaking with Professor Matt Barth, who directs 80 scientists and 5 research groups as the head of the Bourns College of Engineering Center for Environmental Research and Technology. UC Riverside CE-CERT has embarked upon an innovative project called the New Grid, integrating photovoltaics, energy storage, and a local utility for electric transportation. Professor Barth is here to tell us all about it. Welcome to the show, Matt.
Thanks, Sean.
Give us an overview of CE-CERT. Tell us about the facility and what kind of hardware you have there and who you have working for you.
Well, CE-CERT, it's part of the University of California, Riverside's College of Engineering. It's the Center for Environmental Research and Technology. So it's a research center that started back in 1992 and started pretty small, something where we wanted to focus primarily on environmental engineering, looking at air quality issues and transportation. And then just over the years, it's grown up to be quite a sizable research center. So we do quite a bit in terms of, again, looking at air quality issues, linking it to transportation. But really, a large part of our focus is on energy now. So ever since the year 2000, we've really been doing quite a bit with biofuels, solar energy, and other things related to that. It's a pretty unique research center in that it has many different disciplines, mainly in engineering with mechanical engineering, environmental, electrical, all sorts of engineers that are both, faculty, staff, and a lot of students that come in and work together on these different environmental problems.
And what is your position there? What do you do?
So I'm director at CE-CERT. I've been director for 6-7 years now.
Tell us more about this New Grid. I mean, this is what you're here for. So let's hear about the project.
Well, the New Grid project is something that we just started last year, and it's a 3-year project, but we're hoping that it lasts a lot longer. But what it all boils down to is, people always hear about solar energy and how great it is, but what we're trying to do is we're trying to tie in the solar energy into more of the energy distribution issues. So we look at things such as smart grids, and then the final component of New Grid is the electric transportation, so EVs, electric trolleys, and things like that. So the whole point of the New Grid program is to pull those 3 components together and have them work together so that you can, get the energy from the solar panels during the day. You can store it with some of our storage or battery systems, and then use it when you need that energy. And the energy will go to support, of course, our needs at the research center, but it also ties into the electric transportation. So we can charge the cars at night based on collecting the energy during the day, storing it, and then charging the cars later.
So what will it look like on campus physically?
So this is located a couple miles off campus, but again, it's going to be in our parking lot that we share with Bourns Incorporated. It'll be solar carports, and we'll have these solar carports for roughly 2/3 of that parking lot. It'll be great. People will be able to park their cars underneath there, have that shade, and we're going to be generating somewhere around 0.5 megawatt of energy from these solar carports.
Now, who are the players? Are there outside players in this?
Yeah, it's a group of a number of different entities. So I mentioned University of California, Riverside. Obviously, we're the lead institute on this. Bourns Incorporated, Gordon Bourns and the company are heavily involved in the participating in the energy and also the research side of things. We're working with SolarMax, a local solar company that's here in Riverside. And then the primary sponsor is the South Coast Air Quality Management District. And the final partner is Winston Chung. Their energy group have provided us with the batteries that we need for storing the energy.
Now, is there new technology to be developed for this?
A lot of the things we're doing have some new components to it, but really what's unique about this is all these things coming together and the fact that it'll serve as a test bed. So what we're going to be able to do is develop these new algorithms, new methods on how to work with the energy needs, design new strategies on when to store it, when to use it, and then that'll play a big role in developing smart grid technology.
I read a Reuters article recently. It was published this month. And let me give you a little bit of it. It says California's storage push comes as renewables move towards mandated 1/3 of the state's electricity supply by 2020. The proposal has fired up a technology race that has attracted venture capitalists, large-scale battery makers, and established forces like General Electric. Now, is this where Winston Chung is coming in? Are they interested in this developing batteries?
Absolutely. Of course, if you just have solar panels and solar cells, you're going to get your energy primarily during the middle of the day. And that's great if you have your energy needs at that time. But, of course, we use a lot of energy in the evening and into the night. So, integrating, again, the solar with batteries, you need that storage component in order to be able to use the energy when you actually need it. So, the main purpose of this AQMD program is to see how we can use it again for the electric transportation. So typically people aren't going to sit there and charge their vehicles during the middle of the day. That's when they use them. It's usually at night. And so if we can store the energy, then we can use that energy later at night to charge the vehicles.
How close do you see it is on the technology that batteries will be able to do this?
So, battery technology in general has been progressing, slowly over the number of years. The new lithium-ion batteries that we're using are pretty good in terms of doing this type of energy storage we want to do. They can go under a number of different cycles. You can have pretty good power density, energy density in terms of how much you can store and then utilize later on in the evening.
So eventually, or primarily, is the city of Riverside, the greater city, going to benefit from this?
Yeah, I think so. So the idea is this is a relatively small scale test bed, right? So it's a microgrid. We're going to be able to put these things together, try these new strategies, and we're hopeful that people will see this and say, hey, this is now applicable to larger scale areas. It could be parts of cities or larger in a city by itself. The idea is in Southern California to be able to have these type of systems so that we can take better advantage of the solar energy and support the electric transportation.
Are you going to be putting in electric vehicle charging stations around the city?
Yeah, so actually at our location, part of it is for what's called level 2 chargers, and those are for the normal passenger vehicles. Mm-hmm. We're also putting in a level 3 charger, and that'll be for our electric trolley bus. So this is a bus that will have a new route that goes between our location here off of Columbia and the campus, part of Canyon Crest in that area. The city itself already has about 14 different charging stations throughout the city. And again, the idea is to monitor the use of these different systems, look at the patterns of what the electric vehicles are doing, and then from that learn to know where can we put other stations and make better use of the vehicles.
Are there other systems that you are modeling this after, or is this something that you're?
Well, we think there's some systems that are somewhat similar, but this is pretty unique in terms of matching up, again, the batteries with the electric drive transportation and the solar cells.
And how are the utility companies benefiting by this?
Again, I think it's mostly to really test new ideas. So I think the utility companies realize, again, if you just simply do things without storage and thinking about the distribution of power, they really want to get into smart grids and all that. It's necessary so they can not have so much pressure on the infrastructure, the power lines and all that. By alleviating and planning a little bit better, and when you need the energy, then the utilities will be able to provide the power. There won't be the brownouts and blackouts that we see.
And again, is this where the batteries come in? Is this
Absolutely, yeah.
Part of this?
So batteries, again, any type of storage. So batteries, of course, are one means of storing energy, but there's other methods too. But the utilities realize that they have to do some kind of storage in order to take care of their infrastructure.
And since the state of California has mandated some of this, are they supplying us with funds? Are they supplying the universities with funds?
There are research grants and things like that. Again, our primary funding comes from the Air Quality Management District, which is primarily located for the Southern California area.
And how do you see this model moving across the country? What would you like to see?
Well, I sort of see it as, again, moving from a test bed site where we develop all these different ideas and then just growing it. So I think the next steps will be regions of cities and then cities themselves. Again, probably Southern California will see more of these systems as we grow out. Maybe other places like in the northern parts, maybe it's not going to be quite as feasible with the sunlight and all, but certainly California is a great place to do it, Arizona and places like that.
So you do see it as a regional topic, some areas being more prone for this.
Absolutely.
Than other areas.
Right.
Germany is really supporting, and in fact a lot of this technology is coming out of Germany. Is that true?
Yeah, Germany's sort of been at the forefront in terms of using solar panels, solar energy, and all that. They've actually seen the need of storing the energy, developing better infrastructure, and all that. So they've been at the forefront of using it and doing some research with it. But again, research projects like this, I think, will support us, of course, but also other areas as well.
And how will the greater Inland Empire benefit from this? In the future, will they be able to take some of this technology? Will industry be able to take some of this technology and use it for economic reasons?
Again, I think it's primarily going to be an efficiency thing. So if a company or a region wants to use its power and energy more efficiently, then they would do something like this. So it has an efficiency benefit, and again, it alleviates the utilities in terms of dealing with blackouts, brownouts, and things like that.
Matt, you're saying the utility companies benefit from this new smart grid system. Can you tell us a little bit more about how a microgrid system works?
Well, a microgrid is a type of smart grid. Of course, it's a sort of smaller function, more on buildings and things like that. But again, in general, with microgrids, you're dealing with somehow collecting energy, whether it's through the grid or through solar power, having some kind of storage. But the smart part comes in and intelligently using the energy when you need it. So if you have different peaks in terms of when the demand is, and you collect it at different times, it's really figuring out when can you store it, how much can you store, and then later on, when can you use it. A lot of it's predictive. It's looking at historical patterns, figuring out when the demand will be, and then have enough storage there so that you can provide that power later on.
Seasonal models and regional models?
Yeah, seasonal certainly, but during the day as well. So you may see big spikes in the afternoon when people turn on the air conditioners. Other industrial areas might turn on some power for some kind of chillers or whatnot. You sort of have to be able to predict that and then have that energy ready for when they need it.
And who would ultimately be monitoring this? The power companies themselves?
The smart part of it is, you would have these control systems or computers sort of look at these things over time and then be able to make these decisions more or less on their own. You still need the monitoring, the people looking at it and making sure everything's working correctly, but hopefully we can automate as much as we can and it'll work towards our benefit.
Transmission lines, new transmission lines, they're expensive to put in. It's one of the things the power companies, as far as paying for the grid, that are trying to find a way to make solar energy pay for them. Is this smart grid system, would this help alleviate that, putting in panels throughout the city, possibly?
Absolutely. As you mentioned, transmission lines are expensive, right? You usually have a distant energy generating plant, and then you have to get that energy to come in. And in this sort of large area, it doesn't work very efficiently. So by putting the energy generation more locally, then you don't have these long transmission lines. The infrastructure is a little bit easier and less expensive to do. So I do see cities, eventually buying into where they have more local, for example, solar generation. It could be rooftop solar, or it could be large areas that the city may own. They could put up the solar and then get that energy. And then again, they don't have to worry too much about the transmission. The transmission's there locally, and you can distribute it locally too.
Now back to UCR's new grid. Do you have a timeline for us? Do you have
End of this year. We're hoping to have all the solar carports in place by the end of the year. The battery systems are going in this fall, so we're hoping for a big turn-on at the start of 2014.
And Matt, did you say that the University of Riverside itself will benefit from this? Will they use this energy?
We'll use the energy ourselves as part of our research center. It's not where we're going to be generating energy and then giving it back to the city. We have enough demand of energy that we'll use it locally. And then the university is looking, as part of the university, we're looking to expand it. UCR is going to put in roughly a 3 megawatt solar farm themselves. And from what we're doing now on the research side, will definitely apply to what they do later on when they build out.
Financially, will this benefit the campus? Will this benefit UCR?
The new grid project itself is primarily for research, and we're going to, of course, collect energy and then use that energy. So there's some benefit, for our local research lab. But UCR as a whole, the plan is to expand out, put in a larger solar farm, 3 megawatts or so, and the university has a mandate to use a certain amount of green electricity. So by doing this, we're able to get the cost of that green electricity pretty inexpensively compared to bringing it in from, again, far distances from another type of plant. So there is definitely a benefit, financial benefit for the university, first by doing the research and then building on that for the rest of the campus.
Well, thank you for joining us today, Matt. We wish you luck on your project.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Sean.
According to the leaders of CE-CERT and the designers of the new grid, the successful deployment of this integrated renewable energy generation and storage project will place Riverside at the leading edge of advanced energy management. In addition, the testbed system will allow for training, research, and development in a variety of smart grid technologies for UCR, the City of Riverside, and hopefully in the future, cities across the United States. We look forward to their success and wish them the best of luck. For Energy Independence Magazine, I'm Sean Reynolds. Thank you for watching.
The following presentation was made possible by the Alltech Media Group, a Southern California multimedia company providing exponential branding and marketing services to all their clients. The Alltech Media Group understands the value of the 3W strategy, providing their clients proven, trackable results. Let us make it easy for you to grow your business. Visit alltechmedia.com.